KTRS. Every month, we ask him to come on the show and give us a little primer on what's going on in the world of divorce. It's always an interesting conversation. Craig Kallen, one of the divorce attorneys here in town, managing member of the Kallen Law Firm. Craig, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, McGraw. Appreciate it.
So you've got a case, but I wanted to ask you about this tax deal where now I know what they proposed and what's going to come out the other end is different. But one of the proposals is they want to do away with alimony or maintenance as a tax deduction.
Yeah, that would turn that entire area upside down. Because one of the selling points of, say dad's paying maintenance, one of the selling points that you tell them is, that, yeah, you're going to have to pay alimony.
Right.
But it's tax deductible.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it really makes the whole thing kind of greased and kind of go.
Right.
If you take that away, okay, you're going to have a revolt, I would think, with some men and some payors of maintenance.
Right.
If that's no longer deductible.
Are they talking about grandfathering the current one in, or are they just automatically saying, even though you've been getting this as a tax deduction all these years, starting now, it's done?
I think it would be grandfathered in to the extent that it would apply to 2017. Okay.
Right.
Not any further back than that. But at the same time, if it's not included in income in the payee's side of the formula,
right,
that's a real boon to the payee, to the person who's getting the maintenance. If they don't have to claim it as income,
right,
they don't pay taxes on it.
Does the person who's receiving the alimony, because there are some women who pay alimony, so the spouse receiving it, is that taxable?
Yes, sir. That goes on the front page of your 1040 as if you earned income.
But the person who's paying it, it's a tax deduction.
Correct. It's a balance.
So
one party receives it, they pay the tax on it. The other party pays it, they get a deduction. So it turned the thing upside down. I don't think it's a good idea.
So your ears perked up when you heard that.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's just as bad as the home mortgage deduction.
Yeah,
can you imagine that?
That's a whole other issue. All right, Craig Kallen, what's your case for us today?
Well, I tell you, the big area that's going on now that's really hot is called third-party custody.
Okay, explain that.
Well, usually you have mom and dad who have custody of their children.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Third-party custody is a non-biological parent, someone who's involved in the child's life, exercising a right to custody.
So like a stepdad or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
It comes up in stepdad situations, stepmom situations, of course, and as to gay and lesbian relationships. There's a case that came down in October, McGraw, KMM versus KEW, where there were two lesbians who had contracted for artificial insemination.
Right.
Obviously, you got to put the baby in one of them, and so you have one biological parent and one non-biological parent.
Right.
Well, they raised this kid till she's 3 or 4 years old, and they break up, and biological mom says, sorry, you can't have any access to the kid.
Right.
So she obviously petitions the court in St. Louis County, who denies the non-biological parent rights. And in October, the Missouri Court of Appeals for the Eastern District reversed that and said, no, this non-biological parent has standing, has a right to bring a custody case in regard to this child. Now, we don't know as of yet if she'll get custody rights or what they will be, but the court gave her that right.
So that's a big deal.
That's a huge deal. You can imagine all the step-parents out there who've raised stepchildren for decade,
right,
or 5 years or 6 years, and all of a sudden when the relationship breaks up, they're supposed to just cut the ties to this child that they have a relationship with. I think it's the right kind of law, McGraw.
So this is a precedent-setting case in a sense.
Absolutely, because before that, the case that really started it was 2 TQL out of the Supreme Court in 2012, which gave a third party standing to even file a case or to intervene into a case.
So where is this? So this was a St. Louis?
This was it was a St. Louis case out of the Missouri Court of the Eastern District.
Okay.
Our district.
Right.
Here in St. Louis. So, yes, that came out October 3rd, 2017.
Is this going to go up the chain of courts?
Yes, it will. It will. And we're waiting on several cases of this nature to come down from the Supreme Court.
So where's in terms of precedent setting, is this one of the ones they might take to the Supreme Court? Or?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll wait to see what comes of it. Because obviously with KMM, they've got to work their way through the trial court for the judge to make a custody order. And then and only then is that order final and can go up to the Supreme Court.
So what happens to the kid now and the mother in this situation while they're waiting for this to be all sorted out?
Very good question. The trial court can enter temporary orders of custody giving the non-biological parents some time with the child.
Right.
Or what's worse is if they don't do that and a young child is torn away from someone that they have a bond with,
Right.
That can be a real problem. So it's balancing, the rights of everybody involved and trying to determine what's in the best interest of this little kid.
You've been a divorce attorney for how long?
28 years.
So this is the newest frontier.
This is the newest frontier. I gauge this to be the fastest and biggest growing segment of my business.
Really?
Really.
Because so many now ways to get pregnant and people who aren't married and have divorces and friends and everybody else.
Well, right. I mean, the gay and lesbian community alone will engender a lot of business here because obviously biologically they can't have a child.
Right.
But they're a couple in every other way, and so they either do artificial insemination or they do some other form of a child.
So we're in a situation where the biological father doesn't have any rights, but the non-biological mother might have rights.
That's possible. That's possible. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's possible. So we're in a new frontier, McGraw.
What's the website for people to find out more from you?
We are at stlewisdivorce.net.
stlewisdivorce.net. Kallen Law Firm. He's one of the big ones, and he's with us every month to bring us all the weird and wacky stuff. Craig Kallen, you're always welcome here. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, thank you.